Hey Smurf, welcome. Hey Philip, welcome to the stream. Hey Lord Henry, welcome. Yeah, Philip's all my. I'm glad that worked out. I think I now have the triggers worked out for that, but yeah, my personal playthrough, I did not. Let me rephrase that. I need to go back and look at the footage of my personal playthrough, but I don't know if it's either finding the exsanguinated boar or crossing the bridge is the second trigger to Alfira after talking to Conga. I need to go back and look at my footage from my personal playthrough, because I think my personal playthrough, the exsanguinated boar spawned on the near side of the bridge. And I think I went and clicked on it and did that. And then I don't think I crossed the bridge in my personal playthrough. So if that's the case, then maybe the exsanguinated boar or the triggering of some other companion cutscene is maybe the second trigger for that. But either way, glad it worked out. I was really worried about that when I started the playthrough. So on this playthrough, Smurf, we had just finished up talking to Voss and Raphael, and we had taken the deal with Raphael to get the Orphic Hammer. Yeah, and that's where I'm almost positive my personal playthrough, the boar spawned. It was on the near side of the bridge. And I'm almost sure that I did not cross the bridge to the other side in my personal playthrough. So I don't think it's... I could be still wrong. I need to go check the footage, but I'm not entirely sure it's geography based as the second trigger, but maybe it still is, because when Quill and Alfira show up, Quill or Alfira show up at your camp, they make a comment about wanting to adventure with you. So maybe if you've gone across the bridge, that triggers something geographically as you're adventuring away from the grove, and that triggers them to come with you. So that's something I need to go back and look at the footage for. Yeah, she took a beat down though. She took a heck of a beating, but like somebody said in the previous live stream to that one, it's all in trying to keep her alive. So yeah, like Lord Henry said, I felt kind of guilty, so I did throw her a healing potion. I wish Raphael wouldn't have spawned, though. That's a bummer. I honestly wasn't expecting that. So, because I didn't know that there was another trigger for Raphael. I thought that as soon as you enter those areas for the first time, Raphael will spawn. So if he doesn't spawn at the Harper cache, and he doesn't spawn in the Grove, then he has to spawn over by the Blighted Village. I didn't know that you had to either take another long rest or wait a certain amount of time, or maybe crossing the bridge again is a geographic trigger, and that will let him spawn. Yeah, now the honor mode playthrough is caught up to my personal honor mode playthrough, so this week I'll be playing a little bit more and getting prepped for next weekend. And I've got some interesting things to try out. I'm anxious to see how well they work once I get to level 4. Well, I know he can spawn at the Harper stash. I didn't know he could spawn at the Toll House Bridge. That's all the way up in the Risen Road. I thought there were only 3 spots that he could spawn. That's interesting. I did not know that either. That's a long way geographically. Because, yeah, to get to the Risen Road, well, I guess you have the other... You have the eastern entrance to the Risen Road, too, I guess. I was thinking, well, to get to the Risen Road, you have to cross the bridge, the broken bridge, where he would spawn. But I guess if you haven't done the second trigger and you've crossed that bridge and then you trigger it again up there, I guess, then maybe there's a 4th spawn that just is so very rare that people don't know about it. Oh yeah, the broken bridge, yeah. That's just east of the, or just north of the Blighted Village. Yeah, that's the 3rd spawn. Yeah, you meet him just before you walk up to the bridge, before you jump across it, on the south side of the broken bridge. And that's where I met him on my personal playthrough. And I was able to split my group and just approach that area with one character and attacked him. So during my playthroughs this week, he should appear in my camp. And I will try and cause enough damage to him in 100 turns to get his armor. What was the point? Oh, I didn't remove the armor. What happened was I did the respec so I could up Aaron's attitude towards us, but I did not go through the level up process. And bards are not proficient with medium armor until they select either the College of Valor or the College of Swords at level 3. So what I found when we were getting ready to go into that encounter was that I couldn't cast any spells. So, because I had the armor on, and that's why I didn't have access to guidance, was because I wasn't able to cast any spells. So I took the armor off so that I could cast spells during that, and that's why you saw me running around in my underwear. It was because I had taken the armor off and I didn't have any light armor in my inventory to replace it with. And then when I got close to needing armor again, then I just did the level up so I could get proficient with it again and put it back on. Yeah, Philip, I bet it was. That whole conversation was carried out in my underwear. And yeah, Lord Henry, that was... I'm waiting for the day that somebody at Larian stumbles across one of these pathing things somewhere. And yeah, I'm just waiting for them to see evidence of it, because every one of my chapter markers highlights some stupid pathing thing that happens in one of my playthroughs. That was just the dumbest thing ever, though. It was funny. You guys do enjoy my pain, but yeah, it was so stupid. Welcome everyone to today's live stream, episode number 36 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Paladin gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank y'all for coming along on our journey today. So, on our admin notes, Larian put out a community update this week where they highlighted some of the things that they are working on for the upcoming patch 7. I had already explained where last weekend, Larian, right after I had said that I didn't think there were going to be any more patches, there was a bunch of people coming out on Reddit doing some data mining in the game, on Steam, anyway, to find out that there was going to be an upcoming patch 7. And Larian had one of the devs had briefly mentioned it in one sentence, like a month ago or something. But they put out a community update explaining kind of what it's going to be about, and it's going to focus on 3 really main things. The first being evil alternate endings, not just for your Dark Urge characters. If you've chosen to play a character and you've gone down the evil, what we would call an evil alignment route. They don't have alignments in Baldur's Gate 3, but if you went down an evil type playthrough, you would have alternate endings to reflect a lot of those choices and things like that, and what happens. So they are working on some of those. They have also talked about crossplay. And they've mentioned crossplay before, and then it kind of dropped off the radar. And no one was really sure if they were going to get around to implementing it or not, but they did say that they are working to actively implement crossplay. I'll be really anxious to see how that works, especially with consoles. It's quite hard to implement when the console manufacturers are so hesitant to allow mods onto their stores to be able to purchase and or utilize. Bethesda has done a really good job, I will give them credit for that, with their creation kits for their games to allow officially endorsed mods to be playable across platforms. And that's what really has to happen in some way or another for crossplay to really happen. So we always knew they were going to be tied together, crossplay and modding, and that's the third thing that they mentioned, is that they are actively working to finish up an official modding framework for the game. And they're going to have to be able to implement crossplay in any meaningful way, because if you don't have any structured mod support, then crossplay is only going to work with unmodded saves on everybody's side. If a PC player has a mod installed and it's part of a save game file, then it just won't be playable crossplay with consoles because there's no access to that mod. So there's going to have to be some sort of compatibility there, and we're all really anxious to see kind of how that works out and what their plan is. We fully expect that because of the limitations of console, that it's going to be if the mod is available to the game, then the mod will either be able to be downloaded and installed through some sort of centralized Larian interface, or the components of it will be utilized in the background just for the current play session, to be able to play together, and then at the end it will disappear. There is not probably going to be any creation of mods on console. It's just too complicated to do it on console, so fully expect that there has to be some sort of compatibility there. We're just all anxious to see what it's going to be and how well it's going to work. So here's keeping our fingers crossed on that. The second admin note is just a follow-up on Wednesday evening's live stream. Did have some internet issues. They were completely outside of my control. They are my ISP that was fluctuating my speeds so much. I've been keeping an eye on it as I go, and the speeds are again fluctuating anywhere from 6,300, 6.3 megabits per second, up to what I need at 60 FPS and 1080p, which is 8,000 or 8 megabits per second. YouTube has not given me any warnings or anything yet, and it seems to be fairly stable up above the 8 megabit limit, which I need, but we'll keep an eye on it. I don't want to end the streams early if I can avoid it, but I'm kind of at the mercy of my internet here. I don't know why this is happening. It's a very, very rare occurrence, but we'll keep an eye on it and see what's happening. So I think that's it for our admin notes. So on our recap, at the end of last week's episode, we had worked to finish up a bunch of the quest lines in Rivington and the south span of Wyrm's Crossing, and that included going and talking to Raphael and Voss. We made a deal with Raphael that he would give us the Orphic Hammer, and in return we talked to Voss afterward. Voss gave us the Silver Sword of the Astral Plane, his legendary greatsword, which we gave to Lae'zel, and that ended last week. So today we're gonna jump in here real quick and we'll quickly explain what we're gonna do, but we're going to start off with a party change because we are done with the different party members that are needed for encounters and conversations. So here we are back where we were. Lae'zel's in our party. We didn't need to level Lae'zel up for the conversation, but if you look at Lae'zel, she does have the Silver Sword of the Astral Plane. So one of the best great swords in the game for a Githyanki, obviously, to wield. And it does have the weapon action Soulbreaker, just like the previous Githyanki Greatsword did that we got from the Githyanki Kresh, which allows you to possibly stun a target for 2 turns once per short rest. So really, really good sword here. It's just not something that we're going to be as focused on with our party makeup here. So one thing I want to focus on and highlight for you real quick
2 doses.
is back up here on the level above.
That seems like a lot.
Okay, you see we have this room here, which is still dark. We have not been in there. This room has one of Sharessa's courtesans in it, and they're about to have an encounter with a flaming fist. We are not going to do that encounter here. We're going to save that encounter for further down the road. Once you complete it, you can get a very, very good buff that lasts until your next long rest. That buff is extraordinarily useful for a very specific thing that has some very, very difficult ability checks later on inside the city. So that would be very, very useful for that encounter. And we're going to long rest between now and then, so we're going to save this for now. So this area here we are going to save and not deal with for now, because we want to be able to get that buff later and apply it to somewhere that we really need it. Okay. So for the rest of it, we've opened up all of Rivington, and we have explored the western side of the south coast of the river here, and we have explored underneath all of the various areas. We do... I want to check here and see. Yeah, we have avenged the Iron Hands. So we've met with the Iron Hand gnomes underneath the foundry, or underneath the blacksmith shop as well. So we've completed all of the things that we can up to this point. Okay, so what we're going to do now is head back to camp. Okay, and from here we're going to bring Shadowheart back into our party. But first we're going to deal with Jaheira.
Let us have words.
We're going to bring her into our party real quick.
There might be, but it's not a path I tread until we must. Let it wait until the city proper. Perhaps I'll have had a better idea by then. Flattered as I am, you're fully supported as it is. At your command.
Okay, and the reason I'm going to bring this up is because we ran into the issue with Nyrolna last week, in that we were not able to throw Nyrolna. And I want to check here and just see... Yeah, see, we can't throw it. We also can't unequip it. We can't change that weapon out in any way. And I believe I have found out why. The reason for it comes down to Jaheira's wild shape ability. And when we first wild shaped her, we turned her into the water myrmidon. There is a bug with the myrmidon shapes that if you have Nirolna equipped, once you come out of wild shape, out of either one of those two, Nirolna for some reason is locked in place. There's a bunch of speculation as to why that is. No one's entirely sure, but it can be corrected by wild shaping into one of the other non-myrmidon shapes. So into an eagle or a wolf or a bear or anything like that. And then when you cancel that, Nirolna will be able to be thrown again. So we're going to experiment with that here in a little bit.
No time to rest.
After we end up taking our next long rest. We are not going to take that long rest yet, though. Once we do, then we will bring Jaheira back into our party. We'll use one of her wild shape charges to bring that wild shape up and hopefully bring her, or be able to use Nirolna again after that.
Hello, lover. That sounded more debonair in my head, I'll admit. Do you need something? It seems like you have ample company already. You'll need to figure out who you can live without before I can join. Lead the way, then.
Okay, so now our party is set how we want it to be for this. And yes, we are going to leave camp. We're actually going to head to the south span of Wyrm's Crossing just so we don't have to walk all the way out of Sharessa's Caress again. And now we're going to head up towards Wyrm's Crossing. Okay, remember that and I'm looking to see okay, so we should have gotten a pass from a couple of different ways to get into the lower city, and that means we have access to Wyrm's Rock Fortress here.
Did you get to look at their gyrometics? Or their targeting modules?
Hells, not this again.
The brain appears to be resisting its masters. It's acting of its own will.
Sorry, chum, can't let you through. Wyrm's Rock's closed for the day.
Okay, so we have a couple of different options to get in here. We have the Coronation Pass, and we also have the pass given to us by Investigator Valeria.
Ordination is what? Lord Gortash is becoming Archduke. All the peers came to pay regards. Might be. You don't look the posh sort. Last door on the right. Go on. Make merry. Lower the gates! Special permission!
Okay, so there is a little bit more you can explore out here. We can just drop down here real quick to open up the map, because this area can be important. Here at this corner, you have access to be able to jump down to this lower area. Now, you obviously want to use Featherfall or Fly to be able to do this, but you can jump down to this lower area, and there are a few different and interesting things to look at while you're in here. We're going to access these areas a different way, though. We're going to access them from inside Wyrm's Rock Fortress. Okay, and you can kind of see those pathways up here. But here's our quest marker for Find Gortash in Wyrm's Rock Fortress. And you can see here that you can also jump down to here from this side. But this is after you've gotten through the bridge. If you don't have the pass yet, you can utilize here to be able to access Wyrm's Rock Fortress a different way. Okay, now here...
Halt! We do not know how you gained entry, but your trespass shall not be punished. Lord Gortash has been expecting you.
The Watcher's presence fades, but another takes its place. Confident, dominant, commanding.
My most esteemed guest, we meet at last. I am Lord Enver Gortash. You are the prison bearer, slayer of the dread General Ketheric Thorn. I welcome you to Baldur's Gate, my city.
If you have Karlach in your party, which is recommended, we do not have access to Karlach in this playthrough. But if Karlach is in your, or is available as a companion, it's recommended that you bring her with you. Interactions with Gortash are going to be part of her companion quest, and finalizing those interactions is very important to her. It's just like bringing Will along when you're dealing with his father and that sort of stuff. So make sure that before you cross the bridge that you have Karlach with you if you want to get the most out of these conversations. For us, though...
It already is. Granted, there are a few formalities to complete, but... well, why don't you come and see? Allow me to formally invite you to my inauguration. Make your way to the ceremonial hall.
Okay, so now we're fully invited to attend the coronation, and you can see the audience hall is here through this double door. We are not going to go in there yet. And what did you mean flashing near the bridge? I don't think there's anything that I noticed. Oh, this down here, that's just camp supplies. Yeah, the dragon egg mushroom is highlighted as a camp supply. Okay, so we have two rooms over here. We're going to go to the far one first.
Please make your way to the audience chamber.
What? Oh, what are you doing in here?
You notice the gnome slip a lockpick into his pocket.
You're not a fist. Go on, get out, or I'll wake the others.
And hey, David. Hey, Tough Nut. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Okay, so we've caught Fist Raynash here in the middle of theft.
I'm no thief. I was going to pay it back. Eventually. I needed the gold. I'm getting out of here. Taking a ferry down the coast to get me home. Those bloody crooks at the docks are charging triple, though. Danger money. It's a joke. But I have to get away. There's an army coming, trying to kill us all. My wife said we have to stand and fight, and I can't. I won't. I'm not made for this.
Okay, so you have some options here on what to do with him. We're going to pick the intimidation option down here.
All right. It's all hidden up on the roof. I just wanted to be safe. I'm not a coward. I'm not.
Okay, and now Fist Rainash is going to leave. That opens up a marker here for the thief's stash, which is, like he says, up on the roof. Now in here you have some more Sleeping Fist, and you have their chests here and that sort of stuff. We're not going to be taking anything out of here, but feel free to loot everything that isn't tied down if you would like. Again, same thing with everything in here. It's all going to be marked as steel. Okay, now we're going to head back down this direction. Where are we on inspirations? We have 3, so we need another one. So we're going to go in here. And this is going to discover the Wyrm's Rock Fortress waypoint. So now we can fast travel back here anytime. And now we can see that we have Arclea Oliver here, who is the quartermaster for the Flaming Fist.
That's why nothing's gonna happen to us. We'll tell them what happened. This is the armory, not a bloody open house. Fists only. Now clear off. Trade? Do I look like a shopkeeper? This equipment isn't for sale. It belongs to the Flaming Fist.
Okay, so there are, again, a couple of options here. Getting access to her inventory is not mandatory, and her inventory is mostly blah. However, getting access to it with Astarion in your party is going to get you an inspiration. Ooh, trying to fail it.
A trading license? Right. Yes. I could provide you with one of those for the official fee. Much appreciated. Take a look around.
Okay, and here in her inventory, again, +2 armors and that sort of stuff that you're going to get access to. It's really the arrow inventory that is really good. You have smoke powder arrows, you have arrows of many targets, which are always good. The salving arrows are decent for being able to get rid of some negative conditions at range. And your transposition arrows are always very, very good, especially for spellcasters to get out of hairy situations. But we're going to stock up on the arrows of many targets here. These become very, very useful. The other things that are the slaying arrows. So Undead slaying is good again for an encounter that we're going to have probably, well, definitely not this week, but next week. The monstrosity slaying, we'll pick up those two, and I think that's it. The construct slaying is okay, but most constructs are resistant to piercing damage anyway, so I'm not going to focus on those, but these I am going to pick up. And we can just balance that.
Pleasure doing business with you. Now bugger off.
And we're going to get our 4th inspiration for that.
I almost believed you this time.
Okay, so now up here at the top of this, you can just open up the map again. There are some camp supplies up here and some things like that you can loot. For the most part, though, what you're interested in is this passageway.
Please make your way.
And this brings you down into Wyrm's Rock Prison. Now, what the things that are happening down here, you can start the quests for after you go to Gortash's coronation. However, we're going to not go to Gortash's coronation because there's something else very important that we want to do today before we go to that coronation. And we're going to, yeah, see, we're getting somewhat close to level 11. And we are definitely going to get to level 11 today. And we want to get XP and complete a few quests down here as part of that. So we can move up here. And we're going to cast Guidance.
Excellent choice.
On my Paladin.
Never mind. Seems like a good moment to talk.
The guard is fast asleep.
Bathed in a tendy. Ate all the onions.
Okay, we're going to do a perception check here. Oh, nice roll. It's not Saturday, chat. Definitely not Saturday.
Old man Otto. Back here again. Cell stinks like an old cabbage. 3 bowls of the stew. What now?
Goodness, how embarrassing. I had a heavy lunch. Welcome to Wyrm's Rock Prison, the 5th nail, wee jail. What's your business?
Okay, now you have 3 options here, well, 4 options really, of getting into Wyrm's Rock Prison. The first is by passing that perception check and knowing that Old Man Otto is in there, and you're going to get in by claiming he's your father and you want to see him. You have an intimidation check here, which you can do. The DC's a little high, but if you're doing intimidation, you probably are going to be able to pass it. The third option is, while the guard is sleeping, to sneak around behind her and pickpocket the key off of her. And then the fourth option is, like I mentioned earlier, about flying or jumping with Featherfall down off of the bridge and coming into Wyrm's Rock Fortress from a different way. This is by far the easiest, is just doing this first option here, but there are other options for you to be able to do.
Your father?
Not much of a family resemblance. Well,
Second cell on the right. And you tell him, no seconds for supper. This here's a prison, not an inn. Hang on, I'll let you through.
The other benefit of doing it this way,
And don't feed the prisoners.
is that now the guards are not hostile to you. You have a patrolling guard here in Fist Ivorus. And if he sees you, if you come in through another way, then they will question why you are here. And that could lead to a conflict. There are also 3 more Fist in here, which will get drawn into that conflict very easily. So that the letting them know about auto gives you the freedom to be able to move around in here, which you won't have in a lot of other ways. Now, what we do need to check on... Okay. So I do have that. Does Gale have it? He does. So yeah, we're perfectly fine here doing this multiple different ways. So down this way, you have a storage room that's locked. He's now leaving.
Keep your distance, darling. Just like old times. Quietly.
Oh. I picked the wrong one. I didn't do cunning action hide, so I used my action instead. So I couldn't lockpick it.
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times.
Lovely day, this. For now. Of course.
Okay, and then Shadowheart can come in, and you want to close the door behind you.
I've got a long road ahead.
Okay. Now you can feel free to loot everything here in the storage room without being detected.
Step forward.
There's another reason that you come into the storage room, and if you look at your mini-map, you can see it. You kind of see that the navigable area kind of dead ends at this wall. That's because there's a wall here.
Oh, I have the magic touch.
Very well.
And this wall will take you out here, then you have to jump across this chasm. And you can exit outside. Now this outside, if you look where we are, that's that corner of the balcony over there. There's the bridge where we came in. So jumping down to this area here will get you access to this corner, and you can blast your way in from here. Okay, so this is the other way to get into Wyrm's Rock Prison. Again, if you enter this way, though, the guards are going to be questioning you when you come out. Okay? So there are a couple of different ways you can go. This direction here will take you up top and lead you to another area that you don't have access to yet. This area is accessible from inside the audience hall area of Wyrm's Rock Fortress. and this door is able to be opened from the inside. You are not able to open this door from the outside to go in. So it's a one-way passage that we get you down to here, then you can jump across to this same area. We're going to head this way. And head down both of these rope ladders.
Still breathing, despite everything.
Okay, you're going to find some crafting ingredients down here.
I applaud your taste.
Have a lot on my mind and, well, in it.
Just avoid that trap.
Okay, so we perceived that there was a trap here.
Your desire.
Like all good D&D players, I'm going to move everybody back while we deal with it.
Can't afford to stay idle.
Trust no one.
And again, I'm taking chances here by not putting on my thieving gear. The DCs are so close, though, to my bonuses that I'm not really too worried about it. Is anyone else having any buffering issues? YouTube isn't giving me any warnings. And I haven't dropped any frames in OBS yet. But everybody else, let me know if there's more people having buffering issues. So in this chest, you're going to have a letter that talks about, just so you don't forget. This is basically a thieves' chest here. Somebody, a duo of thieves were here taking some stuff. One of them died down here, and this is the chest that was left over from it. So a supreme elixir of arcane cultivation. That's really, really good to have. And then drow poison is also very nice.
All right. What now?
Okay, well, sorry, Philip. It might be just you this time. So we'll head back up the rope ladder here. Now, you do not have to pass the, or you don't have to lockpick that chest. You'll see why here in a second.
I'll take that.
Okay, so we're going to make our way around this way, underneath Wyrm's Crossing, the south span of Wyrm's Crossing. And you're going to find some stuff that you can loot in here. You have to be careful with your camera, because if the bridge is covering over your view, you won't be able to click on anything until you move it out of the way. So things get a little bit weird down here underneath the bridge as far as being able to see and interact with objects. Okay, so, and you can kind of see what I mean. So once you get down here past the bridge, you have this area down here, and there's a skeleton hidden underneath here. Yeah.
Looking ahead.
So I'm going to head down here and search the skeleton, and this skeleton's going to have a rusted key on it. This key is what opens that chest down there. Okay, so you have to disarm the trap, but you do not have to lockpick it. That key will open it. And here's the flashing thing. It's basically just a dragon egg mushroom that's highlighted for us. You can see from our map we need to jump across here. And now again we have two ways to go. We can head down here or we can head up this way. I'm going to head down. Pick up some crafting ingredients. And from here you can again see that we're going to have to jump. Okay, there's nothing to jump to out here. It's all chasm. So you're heading this way. And now, before I go too far down here...
What's next, I wonder?
Let's move.
Okay.
My faith protects me.
I'm going to bring up guidance. Okay, so I failed that survival check.
Wits and blades always sharp. Onward in her name.
Okay, there it is. And an arrow of salving. Good. And a good chunk of gold.
Wish I had a bag
So we'll pick up the last of these crafting supplies down here. And you should also see we have a pipe coming out here.
Breathe deep and move.
You should be familiar with those by now. Okay, so there's a mouse hole to Wyrm's rock cells. So if you're able to wild shape or gaseous form yourself, you have another way into Wyrm's rock prison or into the Wyrm's rock cells if you had jumped your way down to this outside area. Okay, but there's nothing else that we want down here, so we'll head back up. And I need to look at my action economy real quick once I get up here. We kind of take stock of where we're at. And this happens quite a bit here with this jump. I don't entirely know why.
There is work to do.
Quite ready for you.
But you might have to manually jump a couple of characters
At least things have stayed
up there,
interesting.
and then once you regroup, they'll join up with you.
These boots have seen everything. Might be useful.
Okay, so we'll make our way around this way. And we're going to come up to this ladder. Now there's a dragon egg mushroom over here, but you can't reach it. Not entirely sure why. I think it's just a positioning or a pathing thing. But you can't reach it by grabbing it. You can, like, oh, that's an interesting question. Yeah, no. So I can't pick it up and throw it. Yeah, can't reach it. So I'm sure there might be another option like with telekinesis or mage hand or maybe something like that. But yeah, I'm not going to worry about it too much. It's just one crafting ingredient that I'm not too worried about. Okay, pathing. Pathing. Everybody climb the ladder, please. We're going to go up these knotted roots. Now, once we're up here, let me take stock of where we're at once we're all up here. Okay, so I don't have any short rests left. I know. I'm down a couple of divine smites.
Ready and willing.
Gale still looks really good. Astarion's fine. Shadowheart is still really good as well. So I think we have enough to do this. So we have a locked door here. Now for this one, I'm going to change this out.
Simple.
Okay, because now our DC is getting up there a bit. Okay, and now before we go in there, you can see that we have a flaming fist who is patrolling this back area. Now, there are a couple of options here. You can attempt to sneak past this fist. It's somewhat difficult to do because you'll see her patrol pattern. Right now, we'd have to be entering through the door and making our way over there. She will make her way out here to this side. And sometimes she will come out here and sometimes she will stop at the door and turn around. So we're going to try and sneak past her. Now, there's also a chance that even if we get through that far door down there on the end and close it behind us, that just because we've opened that door and gone through it, she will actually go through that door and come out here into this area. And that means we're going to be found. That would be vastly preferable to the other option. Because if you can knock her out, or you can just kill her. Either way. But if you do, there are other NPCs here that can come out of these doors and walk through to the other door. And them wandering through, they can possibly see you if you're in the middle of a fight here, trying to knock her out. And if you do that, all of Wyrm's Rock Fortress is going to become hostile. So you do not want that to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and sneak past here and see if we get it to work. Okay, so see, that's what I meant. So sometimes she will go through this door into this area. If she does, that's fine, because knocking her out here means that we're not going to be in sight of the NPCs that are walking between these doors. Okay? So we're going to wait for her to kind of make her way back. And then we will make our way into this room. And we might not even have to knock her out, depending upon how well we do this. But it's actually fairly difficult with the timing, so. Okay, so once she passes, we're going to go past her over here. Okay, let's go. Okay, so there she goes.
Never wanted the easy path. Seems simple enough.
Okay, we're going to close the door. Now we're going to go over here and we're going to go into turn-based mode. And we're going to grab this trunk. And remember, moving stuff around in turn-based mode does not cost you an action. Okay. And now, to get up here on top of the crates, you can hold shift. Okay, and now from here, I can jump up. And I can do that with everybody else.
Let's go.
What is it? Stay low.
Need to keep focused.
Okay. Now everybody's up here, but we don't have any ability to jump up to here yet. So you can see she did not go out there. She kind of walked up here and now she's coming back.
How much longer will this take?
Okay, so she made it down to there, so we should have enough. Now, the second thing we need to be aware of is what we're going to be getting ourselves into up here. Okay, so we are hidden up here, and we don't see any detection cones, but we do see one there. That's because up here, there's a steel watcher. Okay, now he cannot see the ground here, but he can see up here on top of this, and when he turns around this way and walks back here, his detection cone will cover this up. So we need to try and make our way up here, and there's a little room up here at the top of this. Now, it doesn't cost any movement, or hardly any movement, to go up a ladder. And now you can see the other thing to watch for. There's another steel watcher that's patrolling up here, and it's patrolling around the front of this here. And he will come and walk all the way back to here, and then turn around and come back. So he's able to see into this room the entire way. You can't hide in this room from him, but it doesn't really matter if we can or not. We just need to get everybody up here.
Knees are starting to ache. With ease. Now what?
And I could use Arcane Lock. Yes, Lord Henry, you can lock that door behind you. It's honestly not that important to be able to do it.
Not a sound.
Can't afford to stay idle.
Okay, now the reason we're coming up here is twofold. First, we want to make a confrontation later on that happens inside this room much easier. And we can do that by killing the Steel Watchers and the enemies that are up here. That will eliminate NPCs that will be supporting the main enemy that will be in this room. But right now, that main enemy is not here. So we can clear them out and make that fight a lot easier. The second thing is that there's an achievement that goes along with this. And there are multiple different ways to accomplish that achievement. But the achievement to kill Gortash without any of his traps activating can be accomplished by clearing those traps out right now so that they don't even have a chance to activate during that combat, which would happen later on. Okay, so we're going to do this twofold here. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to be fighting in here. Okay, there are traps on the floor here. There are stun traps. I'm not entirely sure if those traps count toward the achievement or not. But I'm not going to take my chances with them. Now, when we get into combat with this Steel Watcher here, which is how we're going to initiate the combat, you can see that this one's range-based. There are three Steel Watchers up here who are possibly going to come into combat all at the same time. There are, however, 2 other Steel Watchers and 4 other high-level enemies that may or may not be drawn into combat with them. Okay, it just kind of depends. There are some really weird detection cones with this wall. You can sometimes be seen through this wall. Sometimes enemies can even ranged attack you through this wall in various locations. So it's really, really weird. So, and this Steel Watcher up here on top can sometimes be drawn into that combat. He's just normally not able to do anything while you're up here fighting. So we're going to end our turn, and this Steel Watcher's going to head around the corner. And then what we're going to do is kind of move everybody into this room a little bit.
I can't waste any more time.
And prepare for the next one, because we don't have the movement speed to attack that Steel Watcher yet. And he's going to move away. Okay. So we're going to leave Astarion out here. I'm just checking something. Yeah. We're going to leave Astarion out here. Everybody else is going to move into this room, but not... Okay, we're going to get in trouble here.
I'm ready. No time to die.
Okay, I'm going to get ready to go into turn-based mode here.
Nice and quiet now. Light on my feet.
Okay, so he stopped. Okay. Once he gets out of a certain range, they go back into normal time. So, and yes, Rudy, good call. This is going to take my action to do it. Yeah, but I'm only going to be able to do one. So we're going to go up and we're going to attack with our bonus action.
Move unseen.
Okay, and let's hold control. Okay, so we can't. We're going to have to do it this way. And we're going to have to move forward to do it.
At last.
There's a high price.
Okay, so it only brought those 3 Steel Watchers in. Okay, the other 2 are here. 1 melee based and 1 range based. Okay, you can see his Cloak of Displacement has triggered. And we have our actions back. Now, I'm not going to be able to paralyze them or anything like that, so I'm not too worried about any of that. Okay, I don't want to move up too much further, but yeah. What I was afraid of. I'd forgotten where that thing was. The trap was right there, so I don't know. It's a stun trap. The traps only activate when you are in combat. I don't know if that ruined the achievement for this playthrough or not, but normally I would suggest fighting farther back here. I should have exited turn-based mode and let him come farther down here. So I messed up the start of this encounter already. Okay, so this one's going to go this way. He's probably going to draw the others into combat here. So let's get everybody else into this, and we will start to see how the Steel Watchers operate. So first, looking at them, they are vulnerable to lightning damage, which is a very useful thing to know because the Chargebound Warhammer is doing 1d6 lightning damage. Okay, they are immune to psychic and poison damage. Not a big deal for us here. They're also resistant to non-magical damages here, but all of our weapons are magical, so that's not a big deal. Now, the problem here is fail-safe protocol. After losing a, quote, significant amount, unquote, of hit points, this creature will begin a self-detonation protocol to eliminate all nearby threats. When it gets down to 20% of its hit points, it will move into a detonation cycle, and then its next turn, not your next turn, but its next turn, it will explode. And the self-detonation protocol does 12d12 plus 78 fire damage. Now, your honor mode run here, this can one-shot you without even blinking. Okay. Now, there's also something else to know about this. It's a dexterity saving throw. So if you pass the dex saving throw, you're going to take half damage. The other thing is that this is Hellfire. Hellfire ignores resistance to fire damage. So there's nothing you can do to mitigate it. It is just going to cause an immense amount of damage. It gives you a warning it will pop up a radius around it when it's about to detonate, and you do not want to be inside that radius when it does. If it detonates near other Steel Watchers, it will damage them just as much as it will damage you. Okay? So you need to plan your attacks here on the Steel Watchers so that you're able to move away from it before it detonates. That's the key thing about them. So when we get him down to 45 or 50-ish hit points, we need to make sure that we are ready to move away, and we try and do damage ranged to put him into that state. Okay, so we're going to move out here.
Wonder if the gods are watching me.
And we're going to start our attacks. Okay, I'm not going to use Luck of the Far Realms yet. I am going to use a Divine Smite. I want to get rid of this one as quickly as I can. Okay, now here, remember, again, if I end my turn here, and somebody else puts him into detonation mode, he's going to go next. So I would bear the full brunt of the attack here, and I can't let that happen. So I'm going to move back out of range. Astarion's going to get to go before it, so I'm not too worried about where Astarion's placed.
Battle of wits.
Okay, now for Gale, I want to try and put him into detonation mode. And for that, let me actually get... Let me see. I can get Lightning Bolt to hit them both. And not hit Astarion. 3 targets. Oh, it hit this. Okay. So... that is strange. Okay.
I'm ready.
He should have gone into Destruction Protocol by now.
On I go.
So, yeah. Interesting. Why is she barehanded? Where did... where did the Spear of the Evening go? Where did it go? What? Wait, what? Okay. No idea. None. No idea what's happening. Okay, well that's a problem. because I don't have access to darkness.
Fancy that, Joneses.
Okay, this is going to be bad.
Sometimes the only way out is through.
This is going to be real bad. Real bad.
Need to stay focused.
Yeah, I mean, I have that option. It's just... There... Oh no, what was that? I accidentally hit spacebar. Okay, everything's just going wrong. Everything is just going wrong here. So... Yeah, everything's going wrong. Okay. So I want... Well, let's just try and get damage here. Okay, so there's this detonation. That took place a lot later than I expected. And this is why I put quote unquote in the significant portion of damage. Okay, I want Astarion to hopefully take this attack from this Steel Watcher. Okay, now this one's going to immediately explode because his turn's coming up next. Okay, so he shot Gale. That's fine, he missed. Okay.
What's the plan?
Creator, destroyer.
Yes, I do have one. Want that to go to Shadowheart.
Can't afford to let up.
Okay, they are not immune to blindness.
On the move.
Okay, but without her spear, she's not going to be doing much. Because she is... Yeah, she's not going to be able to cast this like that. She can't cast it like that. She can't cast it from inside here.
Allow me to demonstrate.
Okay.
With ease.
Another fight. Let's go. Another step forward.
Okay, now again I want to move him back. Now, I won't. I'll leave him up there. And Astarion won't have, because I took his Eversight ring off, he won't have enough damage to be able to knock him into detonation anyway, but I'm not going to chance it. I'm going to wait. I don't want him going into detonation mode, ending my turn, and then he blows up right next to my Paladin, because that would absolutely kill him. And what happened with my Paladin? How did I get hit for half of my hit points? Okay. This is all just interesting. He's immune to being knocked down. And you can see what the melee versions of them do. They have a really long, it's kind of like Jergeral's Greatsword, where it has a long AoE function, basically, out in front of it. That's how they operate. So I got hit when I cast the Lightning Bolt spell. That's interesting. I was behind Gale when he cast that. Oh well. So let's see if we can knock him into explosion. Because when he explodes, he's going to damage the one behind him. Okay, and that should be far enough back, but I'll just make sure.
Never a dull moment.
Okay, they never do this. I have never seen this before, because if I kill him, he's going to explode right now. And that's going to be very, very bad.
With haste.
Let me move Shadowheart back a little bit.
I wonder if this is worth the cost.
That was so weird. Okay, so Astarion, yeah, these behaviors are very, very strange. It's like there's a lag built into them, like I'm in turn-based mode instead of combat mode. It's very strange. I want to make sure that he's definitely not in that circle. So he hit Shadowheart, and Shadowheart now has the maimed condition. Means can't move. She has disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. We can remove that by healing, though.
What should I do?
Take your
Okay, she's going to... Ah, that's right. It took her bonus action to do it.
Take you.
Okay, so I'm gonna have her move back here. Can't believe that this thing has gone so sideways because of that. And I want to try and keep my my character spaced out so that he can't hit multiple people at the same time with that. Yeah, again, now I'm afraid to use it.
Nothing important is ever easy.
Yeah, something is very, very weird here. See, the animation's already been triggering. There's some sort of lag here of some sort, it looks like. Okay. Alright. Roll the 2. Roll the 3. Nice. Like it. Okay, I definitely want to get out of range so that he has to move into the darkness to hit me, though.
A better position.
Okay, so it's now reeling, and now we need to make sure when we're causing damage here that we are moving back out of the way. Okay, and see, look how much he still has 54 hit points left, and he's detonating. So,
keep going.
Very, very weird.
Talk to me.
Okay. Now, after you kill a Steel Watcher, you get what's called Pursuit Protocol. For 20 turns after you attack a Steel Watcher, the Steel Watcher going to be searching for you across the city. And that's why we have a Steel Watcher. Oh, actually, the people inside are now hostile, but they have not attacked. But if you move into sight range of a patrolling Steel Watcher, they're going to immediately be hostile to you. For the next 15 turns. You can just wait this out, which is what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to move because I'm not in combat right now. I do not want to get into combat with the people in here yet. I want to head to camp, and I want to deal with Shadowheart's equipment situation. Because she is completely useless without that spear. So we're just going to take a break here. Like I say, I'm not going to move because you can sometimes be seen through these walls. And it's very, very weird. They're very buggy. So I'm not going to move here to search the Steel Watchers or anything like that. I'm just going to wait for this timer to run out. And I certainly could, El Scorcho. That's a good thing to think about. When I get back to camp, I'll deal with my action. I'll evaluate my action economy and see where we're at. Okay, so... Yep, she does have it. Thanks, chat. I appreciate that.
What to do?
Okay, so Gale. And he has 6 levels, so it's maximum of 12. And we're going to cast a level 3 Armor of Agathis, and that'll get him up to 12.
No one stopped me yet.
Okay, so we're going to take... We don't have our short rest available, so we need to heal here. Yeah, something's weird here. Because I can't even scroll inside my inventories. It's very weird. Something has happened to my game, and I'm not entirely sure. Okay, now the scrolling's working again. Yeah, very, very weird. Got some weird things happening here, so... before we do that... Periapta wound closure. To get the maximum amount of hit points out of that. Okay. Alright, so now we're going to put everybody into hiding. We're going to break our group.
Keep your blade close.
And Astarion is going to, just for sake of moving around,
Neither seen nor heard.
okay.
My faith protects me. Better tread carefully.
Now these traps are not active outside of combat.
Trap.
So even if I ran over them, they wouldn't do anything right now. But there's no need to test that. These traps are all DC 10. Okay, and sometimes, even though you disarm them, they have a weird habit of rearming themselves during combat. So when I do this next set of combat, I'm going to make sure again I do it back here or somewhere in this area, and away from that trap. Just because the whole arming itself and disarming itself based on whether you're in combat tends to glitch these out a little bit, I think.
Oh dear. Someone's left a trap out for us.
because I have had the enemies in here come out this door and run into one of these traps and get stunned. Even though I'm disarming them.
Be careful. There are traps about.
Well, it's not double nat ones, chat, but we're getting close. But it's not Saturday, right? So we shouldn't be seeing those. Not Saturday.
A trap. Someone doesn't like visitors.
And now I think there are 2 more over here.
Whatever comes, I'm ready.
That's right. Sundays is a safe day.
Unseen. Perfect.
Ooh. Okay, didn't expect that.
These boots have seen everything.
What did she roll? A 2, of course. A 4. I'm gonna stay a little bit away from the door while I'm doing this, and there's a reason for that as well.
Quietly now. Like a wraith.
Trap. Be cautious.
Let's keep to the shadows.
I think there's one more on this side. There's 2 on the other side, but I think there's 3 on this side. Yep.
The mission has to come first. Mustn't let anyone see.
Okay.
Unnoticed. Good.
Step carefully. There's a trap.
And I believe this is it for the traps outside. Now again, I don't know, for your future note, I already have the achievement for this, but for your future note, I don't know if tripping that mine on the other side over there will ruin the achievement or not. I honestly don't know. I don't think it does. I think it really only means the traps with him that give buffs to him or attack you during the fight. But again, I'm not entirely sure. This passageway leads you down into the coronation area, or into the audience hall area. Again, we're not going to go that way, but that's the way you would normally use to get up here.
Let's not get caught off guard. Wonder if the gods
Okay, so we're going to go back this way, and we're going to make another little change to Astarion. We're gonna go up here where we're marked on the map for the thief's stash.
Stepping softly.
Okay, and there's an investigation check you have to pass for that. That's why he upped his intelligence. And then the heavy chest here has a stash note in it, which you can read, where there's still suspicions over misplaced goods. This is what he was stealing from people about. So a scroll of Tasha's hideous laughter is nice. It's just a dagger +1, so the rest of it's fairly inconsequential. Oh, actually, I didn't want Gale.
Keeping my head down. Shouldn't mind myself.
And now we're going to initiate this combat before we do the rest of the searching here. There's some other stuff that you can search and look around up here on the on this roof, but we're not going to do that yet. We're going to initiate the combat first. For that, I'm going to send Astarion back here. Shadowheart can just wait.
Don't mind me.
Okay, that's Astarion. Moving back here. And I'm going to move Gale up as well.
Should have worn better boots. Don't waste a step.
There is work to do.
Why am I doing this? Let's explore.
Okay, so let's change our gear back out. Okay, and Shadowheart's missing a ring here too. Oh, the Eversight ring. No, she doesn't need it. Astarion needs the Eversight ring. I think she just had Crusher's ring for the movement, but yeah. Okay, now before I start this, Shadowheart is going to do something else, and I need to bring, I forgot about this, I need to bring Astarion back.
Whatever comes, I'm ready.
Oh, no, I don't. Forgot about that. Where are we? 656. I'm going to have to do this. Okay. So that means I'm going to have to change... No, I can do this. I can do this with Shadowheart later. Sorry. Normally how I would do this is there's something else I would be... spell I would be casting. I can't do that right now.
I'm ready.
Because I forgot I'm not leveled up. But... can do something in its place.
Really?
So now we're going to go in here with Astarion, and kick things off. Now, inside this room, this is where the combat takes place, inside these two rooms. And you can see that there are these things on the wall. These incineration casters. There is a grenade impeller up here. There are force curtains and that sort of stuff. There are more incineration casters. These are the traps that when you walk in here, the force curtains give Gortash buffs. They basically temporary hit points that you have to work your way through. And the incineration casters and the grenade impellers are attacking you. So these traps are only active during combat. So we want to make sure that we are not triggering combat here. And to do that, I just want to see how far I can get here. Okay, so none of that matters. Okay, and they didn't hear that either.
Shall we?
So let's do this another way.
Leave no trace.
Best be on my way. Let's see.
These traps are not active. So we can go in here and attack them without them being active. Now at some point we're going to cause enough noise that the people in here are going to hear it, and we need to be able to get out when that happens. But the casters, you can see, are sturdy. They are vulnerable to lightning damage and bludgeoning damage. Okay, but they're resistant to a bunch of other things. Now, you don't want to be standing next to these when you attack them. The incineration casters. Because they do that. Now, it goes away immediately, but it will still damage you in that radius. This is why Eldritch Blast works so good with these. You have to cause more than 10 points of damage, but it's a cantrip. Now these, you don't have to stand anywhere away from them and or near them. They just get destroyed. Okay, same thing for the forest curtain. Make sure you do destroy them. Okay, you're gonna get an auto-save there. Okay, and we want to kind of be watching down range here. Okay. So now what's going to happen is we're going to trigger the combat here, because as soon as we attack either one of these, they're going to hear it.
What path lies before me? Just out of view.
Something smells tasty.
See? Okay, so we're going to start this off
forever. Time to press ahead.
with Astarion.
Time for a little death. and see me coming.
Okay, so we rolled first.
Best think ahead, or I'm lost.
Now I can move back here.
Path lies before me.
And we're going to get Astarion out of there. Now the Steel Watchers, and I'm assuming this is still broke. After 1,000 patches, it's still broke. They can move. They have a lot of movement. Astarion cannot outrun a Steel Watcher. So we need to dash to get away from him to keep this separation. Otherwise, he will eat up that 15 meters extraordinarily quickly. Okay. So we're going to just get in our final set of attacks here, and then we're going to get out. Okay, now when he dashes, he's going to be right up next to me. Okay. And see, that's what I mean about the walls. It's almost like they can shoot through the windows or something, even though detection cones don't go through the windows. It's very, very weird. Okay, so we are definitely going to dash here, and we're going to do a little bit of repositioning, I think.
With bated breath. Oh, my hand slipped.
Because he's going to dash out and around here, and he's probably going to get to right about here, if I had to guess.
Need to keep focused.
Shall we cut and run? This will do nicely.
Okay, he moved all the way down there. So, look how much movement they have. It's kind of crazy how much they have. So, Shadowheart's going to be in a bad way here. This may throw a kink in the order of how I was going to do things. Okay, so I can't kill him. If I kill him, he's gonna blow up before Gale and Shadowheart have a chance to move. So I cannot bring him into his destruction mode. However, I can move out of the way with Astarion to provoke his attack of opportunity because I'm displaced. So he's going to have disadvantage on this attack roll against me. Okay, perfect. And I want to turn that off. Do I have an arrow of lightning? I do. This should not hit. Okay, so saved against it. Nice. Oh, can't make that with extra attack. Right. Okay. Now I would move in with my paladin, but again, if I do enough damage to bring him into that state, he's gonna blow up, and Gale and Shadowheart are gonna have a problem. So I think what I'm gonna do is move my paladin in there just to get a couple of attacks and try and see if he's gonna attack my paladin instead. If I can even get it there. Okay, so we did get the attack off. So who's he going to attack? Of course he's going to go after. Okay, you missed twice. That's good. Okay, now I need to start thinking about placement here as we go through this. So any movement from Gale that way is going to provoke an attack of opportunity. Unless I Misty Step. But let's let him see if he hits me. Okay, missed. Okay, now I'm gonna have to start worrying about them. Ooh. My paladin's initiative didn't trigger this round. Okay. We can work this. We can work this. Okay, now I can move freely through here.
Moving.
Okay, so much is going to... These two are not going to be able to reach me. These are the two dangerous ones. The two black gauntlets. And I say dangerous. They are the more dangerous of the four because of their aura of terror. Yeah, I'm getting close to that 54. I think I'm going to back off. I'm not going to chance it. Okay, that's it. Not going to do any more attacks against him. Okay. Well, I'm going to get my paladin to... Okay, I'm not going to get my paladin to do it. I'm just going to get my paladin to get out of the way. Wow, that initiative was really messed up. Okay, so let's get Gale. Okay, so he's still not ready to be blown up yet.
Survival is all that matters.
My paladin does not have a turn.
I need to find a way forward.
This could get a little ugly here. Yeah, see, the stun mine went off there. Okay, now Shadowheart absolutely has to cast Calm Emotions. Here. Okay, and there's a very specific reason for that. I'm going to open myself up to a couple of attacks on this next round, but I'm hoping I can take him out here. This is bad. That range is huge. This might one-shot me. This might be a party wipe. Nothing else I can do this turn. So, yeah, I thought I was going to be out of the range, but I'm not. So everybody here is going to get hit, and this might take out all three of them. Okay, so I got a little lucky there. It's not there, it's in Gale. Need to see if I have... Oh, it won't even let me open that up because he's incapacitated. That broke Shadowheart's concentration too. That's an even bigger problem. Yep, that's an even bigger problem.
There we go again.
Okay, well, if we're going to do this, we're just going to go all in on this. Why? Pathing. Pathing. Just pathing. Just pathing. I can't even... Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Larian, please. Larian, please. You're getting me killed at this point, Larian. I jump in there because I know if I become frightened, I can't move. So I jump so that I don't have to do that. It lands me up here. I don't have a bonus action to jump down. So I have to come back down off of it, and I get frightened there, and I'm not within range to be able to use any of my remaining attacks to do hardly any damage. This is so stupid. Larian. Larian. Come on. At this point, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous, Larian. Because now he might just end up getting killed. Okay. So since she lost her concentration anyway, there's no point in trying to deal with this anymore. It is not going to matter. We just need to try and keep them from hitting us at this point. It's just not going to work, so let's get in here. Protecting them from the fear aura doesn't matter at this point. What is that pathing? Oh, it remembers when you open up when you open up something that's in somebody's inventory. Okay. So he's not threatened.
The witching hour.
What is my range on this? Nothing. Okay. So he's gotten within range of Aura of Terror here. But again, there's nothing that I can do about that. So let's just Misty Step in here. Okay, so he's maimed for one more turn.
Still on my feet.
Incredible waste. Oh, with an 80% chance. Come on. I don't care about damaging the spiritual weapon. Let's kill him. Or not. I love my life. Great.
Rook to Queen 6.
Oh, my 30% chance hits, but my 80% misses.
Time to push my luck again.
Yeah, I needed that. Oh yeah, let's do that. Let's jump up there. Please, let's do it again. Am I gonna land up there?
Have to keep going.
Okay.
I'm ready.
I'm going to recast darkness here.
On my way.
Now it's Astarion's turn. He's threatened. So we're getting sneak attack on everything. Okay.
The last board is set. Striking distance.
Alright. So that was a lot more difficult than it should have been. I forgot that I didn't have Shadowheart up to the
I wonder what the next move is.
level that I'm used to doing this encounter on. And there's a reason for that. You're going to see...
Still alive, so that's progress.
what I mean when we go through my level up here. So... At level 11, we are going to make another change. We're going to get Aura of Protection here, which is okay for a Paladin. But level 6 and 7, really not a whole lot of overall benefit here. However, we're going to add in a fighter class. Okay, and here for our choices, defense is going to give us a straight +1 bonus to armor class, and that's what we're going to take. Level 1 doesn't get us a whole lot in fighter, but level 2 obviously will when it gets us action search. Okay, now Gale is not going back with Cleric. He's going back to level up Wizard again. And that's because we get level 7 and then at level 12 we're going to gain level 8, and that's going to get us our second feat. So at level 4 here, Ice Storm is the big thing for Gale at this point. Being cold based and being able to chill an AoE area of enemies and make them vulnerable to cold damage is extraordinarily useful. Greater invisibility I cannot tell you how useful this spell is. There's really not much of an option here. When it comes to that, you just want to take it. That's just period, end of story. It's way too useful for this going forward. So let me go through the rest of them here, and I think that's good enough. I'm probably going to swap out Scorching Ray for Hold Person. And you'll see why for that here in a little bit. Okay, Shadowheart, the reason that I kind of messed that up is because of Hero's Feast. Hero's Feast is a great spell. In an AoE area around you, you and any of those people that are in that area can't be poisoned, diseased, or frightened. Which is what I normally deal with this encounter by casting Hero's Feast. Now, the thing about Hero's Feast is you get temporary hit points. All wisdom saves are made with advantage, so Charmed, Hold, all of that sort of stuff also goes at a disadvantage, so that's why those Command Halt and Command Grovel they were casting on me, I'd be able to have advantage on those saving throws. This is not a concentration spell, and it lasts until long rest. So you're just getting these buffs straight up for the entire party for the entire long rest, and you don't have to worry about concentration removing them. It's a great spell to have. Now, don't get me wrong, Planar Ally is also very, very good for a cleric to have at this point. Harm is amazing. It does a lot of necrotic damage. It's a ranged spell to be able to cast, and it reduces their maximum hit points. So Harm is also great. Blade Barrier is another AoE denial spell. It's like an upcasted version of Cloud of Daggers, but again, concentration based. I always, for the first spell, take Hero's Feast. Or always prepare Hero's Feast first. Okay, now for Astarion here, the choices between gaining another favored enemy and another natural explorer versus gaining additional skills at level 7. This, again, really comes into, or at level 6, and then at level 7, the skills based for a rogue. We're going to end up respecking Astarion here in a little bit anyway. So at this point, it's 6 of one, half dozen the other, because his build isn't going to be the same at this point going forward. But for now, I'm going to add a fire class. Okay, so now things are fairly cleared up. And by fairly, I mean we still have some housework to do in here, so we're going to go do it real quick. Okay, and you need to be looking up at the walls and all that sort of stuff to make sure you're not missing anything. But again, you're not in combat, so these aren't going to be triggered since you are not in combat. And again, I'm not entirely sure the force curtains count toward the achievement or not. Whether or not they activate. Okay, so I think this is the last set here. Okay, I think that's it. Okay. Before you leave here, you want to make sure you've gotten them all. So make sure you've done a quick look around all the walls, in the corners, in the ceilings. Move your mouse around. Look and make sure that nothing else is popping up. And then we can group everybody up. And we're going to start in this room, working our way from the back to the front. And that's good. Our usage, we're definitely in need of a long rest, which is good. Yeah, see, it's almost like the game's got some weird lag in it or something. It's kind of strange. Okay, so Astarion is going to need some help here.
Subtle steps.
Something over there. So we perceive the painting. We'll pull the painting off the wall, and there's a safe back here. Now, you'll be able to find a key for this later on from somebody, but we can attempt to lockpick it. This is now getting to the, okay, we're a little bit difficult type of DC here. And there you go. Good thing it happens with Thieves' Tools, because again, we don't really care about Thieves' Tools. I think we're full on inspirations as well. We are, but we've got 10 Thieves' Tools. That's going to be a big roll. 36. Okay, so here you find your, normally the first potion of supreme healing that you've run across. This removes the burning condition as well as healing, but it's 10d4 plus 20. So it's really, really good. An elixir of health. It removes blinded, paralyzed, and poison conditions. You can also throw this at somebody who is paralyzed or blinded or poisoned to be able to cure them. There's an Inquisition memo here, and this goes back to how they found out that Duke Stelmane was not herself. Remember Duke Stelmane and the Emperor, how that whole thing worked, and this is where they learn about that that coexistence, that one was the other, by finding out that he was a mind flayer. And then you have the high security vault number 5 key. That is a key that's going to be used much later on. Well, not much, I guess. Well, yeah, much later on at this point. But we have access to it early. We just won't be able to use it or do anything with it yet. Now we're also going to cast it again. Back here we have a gilded chest. And again, our lockpick. It should be good. And here you have the Helldusk boots. So this is part of the Helldusk set. Here you have Steadfast, so you can't be forcibly moved by spells or action. So you can't be shoved. You can't be pushed back by a weapon action or Eldritch Blast. You ignore the effects of difficult terrain. This also has Infernal Evasion. When you fail a saving throw, you may use your reaction to succeed instead. This can be incredibly useful. Especially once we start getting into the point where the debilitating spell effects like Hold Person become a lot more often used. The Helldust boots can save you from those things quite a bit. It has a class action once per short rest for the Hellcrawler. You can teleport to an area like Misty Step within an 18-meter radius, and you deal 2d8 fire damage when you land. And when you land, that damage is caused in a 3-meter radius. It's a big AoE when it lands. So once per short rest, you can deal fire damage in an AoE anywhere within a huge radius around you. We're going to get another Mind Flayer Parasite specimen, so that should put us up to 20. And you have the book here, which talks about how they are trying to accelerate the grand design, but at the same time modify it so that they are in control of the Elder Brain. Okay, so now here there are some other things that you're going to be able to pick up. You can pick up the painting off the wall. Some more books. That book up there, you can't reach it unless you knock it down or use telekinesis or something like that on it. There are some camp supplies here. There's also a list of blackmailable Peers of the Realm here in Baldur's Gate that they are trying to go after to get them to side with Gortash. You can play the piano if you'd like. Then here on the table, I did forget the opulent chest back here in the corner. And this has the Servitor of the Black Hand gloves. This is again part of that monk set where you have thunder, cold, fire, and force damage gloves that all deal 1d4 of their particular elemental type, and the spell that goes along with it. In this case, it's Fear. You can cast it once per long rest. Fear is an incredible spell to debilitate enemies in a large AoE. So we got necrotic resistance, okay, nothing really special. A bunch more camp supplies here, which again I'm not going to pick up. There's some other stuff you can sell. These silver cake stands, silver goblets, that sort of stuff are very good to sell. Some more clothing. Then here on the table you've got a bunch of books and stuff that you can read to talk about, to expand on some of the lore. So I'm just going to click on them. I'm going to leave them up for a couple of seconds. And then you can go back and pause this video if you'd like to learn more about this. But it really starts explaining all of the plans here. And those plans basically are that we're going to work together with the Dead Three. We are going to take control of a Netherbrain, and we're going to do that under the auspices of taking over the city of Baldur's Gate and using the tadpoles to infect certain royalty or influential people in the city to maintain rule over the city. But this stuff really gives you the ins and outs of the plan. This stuff is normally meant to be seen later on.
I wonder.
So we're taking a look at it now.
There is work to do.
And we are definitely going to take a long rest. Okay, there's an amethyst in there also. Don't forget, there's a journal. Gortash's journal up here, again, talks about his usage of the absolute mythology to take control of the city. Again, some memoir notes where he's talking about his interactions with Baal. So a lot more stuff you can read here to learn all about what's happening.
No one back home will ever believe this.
Okay, now here there's just more
What am I to do?
stuff that we can pick up to sell, which we will. These goblets and that sort of stuff are all worth quite a bit to go sell. And we aren't even into the lower city yet. So we're going to still need a bunch of gold.
I'll go this way.
Okay, so we'll just finish picking these up, and then we will go take our long rest. Because we definitely need one. As was said, we had to pull out all the stops there for that. Okay, so we're finished looting in here. So outside here, you have a few other things that you can take a look at. So that'll get our smoke powder bomb back that we threw to no effect. So we have monstrosity and construct slaying. Kinda meh. Was hoping for better out of those. Okay, we've got these two crates here. Going to pick up the two smoke powder barrels. And immediately send those to camp. Okay, now this I need to remember how to do, but first, what's our carry weights look like? So Gale still has some, but he's probably not going to be able to take all of it. Okay, so let's search these here. We're going to find plate armor in here and maces +2. Worth a lot to be able to sell. Again, I don't think Gale's going to be able to pick up all of these. So we will give him the club.
All right. What now?
On the Watchers, you're going to find Infernal Iron. So again, if for some reason you haven't gotten Karlach fixed, you've got plenty of Infernal Iron laying around. But also this stuff can be used by Dammon to craft
What's inside?
more explosives for you.
Don't waste a step.
And now here, I need to remember how I did this. Because honestly, I can't remember.
Direct me.
Okay, so there's one pixel up here.
Shall be done.
Okay, so we failed the perception check.
How delicious.
No rest for the wicked, I see.
Okay, so we can't move it down there.
Still breathing.
Seeing if I can cheese this. Yeah, can't.
Salutations.
That'll work too. And I'll get everybody back.
Still alive, so that's progress.
Wits and blades.
Just in case.
Always sharp.
Hardly a challenge.
Okay, just some more gold. Various arrows. Nothing really important there.
No one's stopped me yet.
Okay, and that finishes all of our looting up here. There is one more crate up here, but the ladder got destroyed, I believe. Or no, in this playthrough it didn't. That was my previous one. This one, it's still here. There's some crates here to search too. Yeah, and in my personal playthrough, I actually thought that this door was small enough that a big old steel watcher couldn't walk through it. That was wrong. He walked right into the middle of this thing and blew himself up. Unexpected. Yeah, unexpected, to say the least. So, now we are done up here. So we're going to head to camp and take our long rest. And when we leave, we're not coming back here.
Queen Vlakith. Skra!
You are a Charlotte, and still you speak my name.
I've seen the captive Orpheus with my own eyes. Spoken to Shestil Kithrak Voss. You lied to us. Enslaved us.
The betrayer Voss lies! I have only a moment, and you, Hashalak, will listen. We are Githyanki. We move mountains. We snuff out stars. We shake the plains. The traitor Voss has lied to you. The heretic prince would shatter us in an instant. The great dominion shrunk to the head of a pin.
Can this be true? Is the Githyanki prince really a threat to his own people? Or simply a challenge to Vlaakith's rule?
Return to the astral prism. Slay Orpheus the Pretender. Serve me, and I will ascend you. You will be no mere warrior, nor Kithrak. You will be Barta Vlaakith, commander of dragons. My only, my chosen. A final chance. Kneel before me. Make your promise.
Lae'zel's thoughts become yours. The sight of Orpheus looms over her mind. Voss's words echo within it. She means to forever turn her back on Vlaakith.
Okay, so this is your one last chance to influence the outcome of basically who you're going to be siding with when it comes to the final battle. Whether you are going to be siding with the Emperor or whether you're going to be siding with Orpheus. The two are mutually exclusive. And this is your last chance to do it. Now, Lae'zel wants to side with Orpheus. She's made that very clear, but this is going to give you an opportunity to change her mind and side with the Emperor instead.
I gave you my faith, and you called me traitor. I gave you my life, and you ordered your knights to hunt me. I have witnessed too much, and you have given me too little. Finally, I can see. Orpheus will live, and I will hear his creed. This is my word.
Your word is nothing! You are nothing! The Kithraki will bring you. I will tear your flesh from your bones and devour your skull's marrow, while you beg for death. I will consume you. I will unmake you.
Okay, so Vlaakith, the Githyanki Karen, wants to speak to the manager here. She's a little bit upset. So we will obviously have to deal with that, and Lae'zel wants to talk to us about it, I'm sure.
I have a lot on my mind.
It is done. There is no going back. As long as the Undying Queen reigns, I am never to soar unbound over the astral sea, never to cross the one in the void. As it should be. Better a short life built on truth than immortality woven of lies. Better to unite the Githyanki under a prince who would free their minds and honor their bodies. So why do I feel so bitter?
Vlaakith has upended Lae'zel's whole existence. Everything she knew to be true, every plan and aspiration she ever held has been painfully ripped away. Lae'zel's bitterness is born of sadness. She is mourning the loss of the person she once was, and can never be again.
How well you've come to know me. But in truth, she didn't take everything. I have what I have gathered for myself. I'm more to a new regent, a new land, and new allies. Vlaakith cannot unmake she who no longer exists. And so, from the old battle cries is birthed another. Shma Salar Orpheus, Ma Stilna Forgin in Yeri. Orpheus's will above all. May the comet blaze my path forward. Orpheus's freedom is my want and my need. To deny his freedom would be to deny my own. There will come a time when I can think about myself beyond the Lich Queen who enslaves the Githyanki and the prince who would liberate them. But that time won't come until the Prince of the Comet flies again. Vlaakith's left hand and her right. Commander of all dragons, chosen of the Queen Regent. Not since Vlaakith I has a Bart to Vlaakith been anointed. Another empty promise. Only a naive fool would believe otherwise. The kind of fool I was not so long ago. We hammer Orpheus free from his chains at our first chance. Orpheus Tavki Nazin.
Okay, so yes, her life is obviously changed, and there's no going back for her now.
Hi. It's me, Yenna. You remember me, right? You were really nice to me before, and, my mum hasn't come back yet. She might come later. I don't think she's coming. Could we maybe stay here?
What harm? She's little, won't take up much space, or make much of a dent in our provisions.
Yes! You've got a fire and everything! I can cook really good! Whatever you want! Thank you, thank you!
Okay, let's go over and talk to Jaheira and just see if there's any more conversations to be had.
We just played host to an undying queen. Oh, and that's without our fine silverware. Lae'zel has courage turning her back on a lifetime's belief. As for us, best we stay out of interplanar politics, I think. Orpheus is on his own. But should Great Vlaakith come to settle a score with Lae'zel, well, I might be convinced to kill her. Undying or not. She was very loud.
I love that.
There might be, but it's not a path I tread until we must. Let it wait until the city proper. Perhaps I'll have had a better idea by then. That speaks well of your taste. I've heard my share of bad ballads about things I never did. If you have questions, ask. Just don't expect my answers to rhyme.
I think we've gone through these before.
So, Lae'zel's finally seen the light and turned on her mistress. It took a little time, but she got there. Though it's not over yet. Masters rarely let their slaves go without a fight. I won't lie. The thought hardly fills me with glee. Even with my newfound advantages, he's still an incredibly powerful vampire. But he's arrogant, too. If he does hear I'm back, he'll try to take me and expose himself in the process. Then I'll be able to strike. Neither will I, darling. At least I hope you'll come along for the show. But regardless, the plan is simple. Find him, stop him from gaining almighty power, and then really enjoy killing him. And if I can seize that almighty power for myself, well, all the better.
Hey, Will here real quick.
Vlaakith's a fearsome one. The sort it's hard to say no to. But Lae'zel said it anyway, to her immense credit. She's choosing truth. She's choosing freedom. For her, for Orpheus, for the Githyanki people. I wish I knew a good Githyanki cheer to celebrate the occasion, but the only gift phrases I've picked up are the sweary sort.
Lady Shah's blessings be upon you. What's that look you're giving me? I feel like a mouse cornered by a cat. It can be difficult to explain if you don't worship the Night Singer yourself, but I'll try. Lady Shah respects cunning, and that's exactly what you and I will need to demonstrate if you want this to continue. Rules are perhaps not always meant to be broken, but they are always intended to be bent. That kiss we shared wasn't my first, you know. Far from it. Lady Shah's initiates, we weren't supposed to have relationships. Or flings. Not even stray trysts. And yet, we found a way. You can frame many acts as service to the Dark Lady if you put your mind to it. Seduction can be a worthy form of subterfuge. A snatched moment can practice the art of stealth. And making a lover wait? Well, there's few finer torments, if you know what you're doing. As long as my actions can be thought of as honoring Shah or honing skills in her service, there's a great deal of flexibility to be had. I know you do, but I'm not going to let you. Not just yet. Few finer torments, but you need to understand the limitations. I can't truly love you. Not like most define it. I'll always have to keep a place for Lady Shah. But you're clever, willing, and flexible. You needn't feel left wanting. I'll give you all that I can. Just don't call it love.
Oh, Shadowheart. So, yes. She's fully embracing who she is now.
Glad to see I'm not the only one on the wrong side of an omnipotent authority figure. Lae'zel did well to break free of Vlaakith's manipulations, though I doubt Vlaakith will let such insubordination go unpunished.
Hey, looks like Scratch wants to talk. Probably have something to give us.
It's certainly good to be back at camp. How I've missed the smells.
I don't know if I got friend zoned there. I think I got friends with benefit zoned, which I'm not entirely sure I'm opposed to.
Indeed. And I'm sure Dringo will do a great job. He always took good care of me.
You smell very delicious, but I will not bite you. Nice here. The caves smell like rotting meat. Goblin camp smells like goblins. Yes, fun. Ooh, more.
So, it seems that Vlaakith is Lae'zel's queen no longer. That took no small amount of backbone. I have. He speaks to me during my nightly meditations. He is well. And Oliver also. At times they are one, and at others they divide. Easier for playing, perhaps. And the land thrives also. I doubt you would recognize it. Perhaps one day, you and I can both return and see it for ourselves.
Okay, so I think that's it. So let's go take our long rest here.
Let's see what this does.
Before we do that... Okay. We're in streamer mode.
How did you? Oh, it's you. I must have let my mind wander. Enough for you to wander in. Forgive me. I am drained. Ever since you killed Ketheric and took his netherstone, the Chosen's control of the brain has been brittle. It's rebelling against Orin and Gortash fiercely. I suspected that when we took Ketheric's stone, the brain would begin to break free. Those brain quakes confirm that my suspicion was correct. I do not know what happens now when it receives their orders, and I do not dare guess.
You feel the Emperor's fear as if it were your own. An elder brain enslaved is one thing. An elder brain unleashed will be the end of everything.
Beautiful, isn't it? The mighty Prince Orpheus, contained in submissive slumber. Come. You may as well sit a while, now that you are here. Your company isn't unwelcome. An accurate summary. I have found myself distracted of late. I'm haunted by memories. They are relentless. I can think of nothing. No one else. Indeed. Duke Stelmane, or as I knew her, Belin, when she was alive. You thought you were my first ally. Far from it. I have long sought the allyship of others. It is the only way to succeed. Though my relationship with Belin was different from my relationship with you. In a way, but not the way you're thinking of. In life, she was my business partner, back when we ran the Knights of the Shield. A difficult task for a mind flayer. Duke Stelmane trusted me, and the city trusted her. I conceived the plot, but Belin took center stage. It was she who met with the merchants, politicians, and patriarchs. It was she who negotiated deals and signed off on agreements. Her rooms played host to the most important conversations in the city. Together, we brought order to chaos. At its height, everything that happened in that city went through the shield. Through us. I could not have done any of it without her. Just as I cannot do any of this without you. But now, she is gone. Astute as ever. You think that mind flayers are soulless husks who feel nothing. Belin thought the same at first. You are wrong. Feeling is vital to the pursuit of anyone's goals. Even the mind flayers. Like you, mind flayers know fear. Like you, we crave recognition. But unlike you, unlike the others of my kind, I am no slave to either. My end is and always has been freedom. Belin understood this. Belin became my freedom. I won't. Another quake. The brain is rebelling again. I need to focus.
Okay, so we did learn a lot more about the interactions in the past, and this is why the loyalty of the Black Hand group had it a little backward in their notes. They were allied together. Stelmane and the Emperor were allies of each other. They were not one in the same, and that's what was just explained to us there, is that they were both in charge. She was out front, the public face of the city's power, and he was the mind behind everything. And when they ended up murdering Duke Stelmane, they thought that was the end of things, but it really isn't, because the Emperor is still around. So a critical mistake on their part, which has kind of led us to where we are now. So I think that gets us a good point to stop here. We have explored all of the interior and upper portions of Wyrm's Rock Fortress. We still have the coronation chamber, the audience hall, and we still have the prisons underneath to finish exploring. There's still something down there that we need to do. However, we are probably going to do that after we have dealt with the coronation hall. So next week we're going to finish up a few things here in Wyrm's Rock Fortress. We're going to deal with an encounter with Gortash, but it's not going to be the final encounter. That is not going to come till much later. And there's a very specific reason for that we are going to delay it. But we've laid all the prep work for it. It's just not going to happen anytime soon. So after that, we will start exploring into the lower city and really get into the city of Baldur's Gate itself. And there's a lot of stuff to do in the city. So should be a lot of good times here. So we'll drop our save here. Off stream, I am going to do some inventory management, but that's it. So I'll go ahead and get that taken care of so you won't have to deal with it next time, and I won't have to deal with all the mistakes that go along with it. And we will join each other again on Wednesday evening of this week, hopefully, for the continuation of the Bard playthrough. So, as always, thank you all for being here. I can't thank you enough for the support and the interactions. As always, none of this would be possible without your support, so this is Commander Droval saying until next time, fare thee well.